Hello guys, welcome back to Noob Nerd, and today we're going to be going through each Marvel movie in the MCU from Phase 1 all the way to Phase 3 as part of the Infinity Saga, and ranking them in a tier maker system, ranging from putting all the movies to the greatest movies I think in my opinion, all the way down to what movies are the worst ones in my own opinion. These, of course, you've probably seen loads of the variations of these, ranking different stuff, sports, other films, all that good jazz in all across YouTube at the moment. I think I'm probably a little bit late to it, but nevertheless I wanted to try something different instead of just the usual reviews or reactions to comic book media that I usually do on the channel. Check out my other videos if you haven't yet, and like, comment, subscribe. I always appreciate the support. So yeah, I've just reviewed recently Spider-Man Homecoming. No, not Homecoming, Far From Home. That was the last movie, apparently, according to Kevin Feige, as part of Phase 3. And of course, just as Comic-Con's right underway as I'm filming this video, they're probably going to be announcing Phase 4 movies, Marvel, Disney, Kevin Feige, in a couple of days anyway. So this is just I just thought it was just a good time to rank all these movies and see, just to give you all, showcase my own opinions, like a mini reviews for each movie. If you really want to know my opinion, if it's that important. Of course, with all these movies, there's always going to be different opinions. You definitely gonna have a different opinion to me. Oh, you shouldn't be putting this at God tier, you should be doing it as average movie. Nevertheless, just let me know your thoughts down below, and it's alright to differ from someone else. It's always gonna happen, and I like to see your constructive viewpoints on it down below. With that said, let's just get on with it. Let me just check if I'm still recording. Am I still recording? Yes, I'm still recording. So yeah, let's just start from all the way from 2008 and Iron Man. Where's Iron Man on this actually? Is he even? Yeah, there it is in the right corner. Yeah, God tier. God tier. So Iron Man is fundamentally the starting point for everything in the MCU. You know this, I know this, and in the back of my head before I was recording this video, I was like, is Iron Man a bit overrated maybe? But when you really look back on it, I might need to do a rewatch actually, but what I remember of it is just great actors fitted for the best roles of their careers. Robert Downey Jr. was Iron Man and is Iron Man to this day. Doesn't matter what's happening. Pepper Potter's good in the movie. War Machine's good, even though it's a different actor for the rest of the movies. Obadiah Stane, played by Jeff Bridges, is underrated. I don't think he's given enough credit in these movies. That scene where he like takes off the arc reactor of Tony Stark while he's in his living room, he's just pretty much dying. He needs to get that new arc reactor. That's such a good scene. I remembered just the other day when I was thinking, it was like, oh, was the ending of Iron Man just as good as the beginning? Because the beginning was so good as well. The war zone, him getting locked in there with random mechanic, and his intellect was beautifully shown, not told, just shown, and the humor's good, everything's on point. But obviously the sadness and emotions, and it has a lot of heart in it as well. Of course, when that mechanic dies, I forgot his name, I should know his name. He's like, have a good life, Tony. Don't waste your life. Go out that cave and become Iron Man. So good, so good. And the ending might be a little bit of a debate as to which, if it's that really good. The final set piece where Jeff Bridges actually becomes the full-on another Iron Man, pretty much. But nevertheless, I think that was a good action set piece, and maybe it'd been done before, but everything else was just sensational, too sensational to just drop it down to a good level. It's a God tier level, to be honest. Yeah, and going back to that, taking off the arc reactor, Iron Man fighting for his life at the end, at the start and at the end actually. You feel Robert Downey Jr.'s hurt, not just physically in his environment, but also within his own head, and he's not the typical superhero you usually see. He's a narcissistic, he's a rich guy at the start. Not rich guy, obviously he's a rich guy, but he's full of himself very much, and you don't usually see that. And it was a welcome change of pace at that time, and it really marked a turning point in everything. And without this, we wouldn't have all these movies, so obviously it's gonna be God tier. I'm gonna try and keep this whole ranking under 30 minutes. Just started with Iron Man. I had to speak my piece about that. I'll go on a bit quicker according to the next movies. What is the next movie after Incredible Hulk? That's the next movie after Iron Man. Still recording. Good. I'm a bit paranoid. Haven't done these videos before, so I don't want to mess it up. Incredible Hulk 2008. Of course, another actor that didn't carry on with the movies, but this time the actual main character. So, but I think, I forgot his name. Edward Norton, yeah, that's the actor's name. Sorry, guys. Yeah, he played Bruce Banner pretty well, to be honest. Again, you felt his dread, but it was kind of run-of-the-mill running away from the government. It was like, I swear I've already seen that before, like 4 years prior with the, what was it, that Hulk movie beforehand. And I'm leaning towards, it could be good. I think there's some parts of this movie that are underrated just because people don't really count it as part of the MCU. Maybe some people you might still. I still do count it as part of the MCU. It was just unfortunate the actor had to leave, but we got replaced with a good actor, Mark Ruffalo. I'm not actually talking about the stories inside the movie itself. I'm talking about outside the movie. It says a lot, and it was kind of an average movie. It wasn't meh. I think because I still remember some good moments for it. I think that moment when he jumps out the glass bridge and he basically pummels that soldier before becoming Abomination. He's like, I can't describe it. He's in the park basically with all the tanks and stuff. That was a cool scene. The Brazil setting at the start was really cool, and that got reflected back in the Avengers when, of course, Black Widow goes to Bruce Banner while in that Brazil hiding setup. The favelas, basically. Yeah, I think it was good. The Betty, what's her name? Betty Ross. The Betty Ross and Bruce Banner relationship I dug. I think it was a good chemistry. I think that really sold the movie as well. But apart from that, the villain was kind of generic, but could have done a lot better with that fight scene. I think it had a lot of potential, but kind of it was just two big monsters at our road punching each other. Like punched each other once, I think, and a couple of times, and then he lost. So yeah, and the Tony Stark, of course, cameo at the end. Can't really count that. It's weird. You don't know if you can count post-credit scenes as part of the movie itself because they're in every single movie of these. So yeah, average. Yeah, I think that's a good place to put it. You could disagree, obviously. What's next? There was no movie that came out 2009, but Iron Man 2 came out 2009, and I watched it. I watched the whole movie like a couple of years ago. It took me a while to actually watch the whole movie, actually, and lots of people and that says a lot because I watched Iron Man 3 before Iron Man 2, which is weird. And yeah, is it meh? I'm leaning between meh and average again, to be honest. But I don't remember much at the start of the movie. I remember the ending of the movie. It's an interesting end. The villain was charismatic, but it was just like Tony Stark light. I guess that was the whole point. But nah, it's not nearly as much heart as it was for the first one. I think it was kind of just a quick cash grab. More of a quick. It wasn't a cash grab. Can't speak. Cash grab completely. But it was just like they were trying to rush to a sequel like 2 years later, and put Nick Fury in there, put Scarlett Johansson. Them two arrivals are good. I'd like to see their characters developed for the first time. But apart from that, it was kind of meh. The two villains I like. I forgot. Sam Rockwell is the villain. I think that's his name is. Forgive me if I haven't got his name right. The other villain with the chain whips. That was a cool racing track scene. But that was the only good action set piece, to be honest. So yeah, meh. What was next? 2011. That's Captain America: The First Avenger, and average or good. Do you know what? I watched this movie, and it's really. A lot of people are starting to like this movie again. I've seen on social media, and or not start to like it again, but like recognize its qualities, its good qualities, and I like to agree. Good or average though? Is it worth saying good though? I think it was a good movie. It was entertaining. It was cool. I watched it right before Winter Soldier. It serves as a great precursor to that movie. We'll go on to that in a bit. And the Red Skull was really cool in it. I wish you saw him more actually. Bucky Barnes, Captain America. All the characters are really likable. Captain America, you get sold of his journey from a skinny kid in Brooklyn to, of course, the war hero. But of course, even then he has his struggles trying to fit his place fit in that place of like, oh, he's just a fake guy, he's just a propaganda piece, and then he actually becomes a hero. And yeah, I think it was a good movie. I think it was. Yeah, I'm glad people have started to recognize his qualities again. But it isn't the best movie, of course. So what was the next movie? I think it was The Avengers. Yeah, it was. I remember The Avengers was like the post-credit scene for Captain America: The First Avenger. And this is where it gets interesting. Well, even more interesting. Is Avengers God tier? If we're being honest. Yeah, it has to be, isn't it? It has to be. I didn't get to see Avengers in cinemas, in the films, in the theatre, so whatever you want to call it. But I think I was quite devastated that I wasn't able to watch it in theatres. Because yeah, it's just an extremely rewatchable film. You can watch it all the time and not be able to keep your eyes off it. It's gangbusters, crazy adventure. But characters, if you watched all the movies, it fits in perfectly. The dynamics between the characters, going from not liking each other to like each other, is done so beautifully. And that scene where Bruce Banner's like, "I'll put a gun in my mouth." They're trying to keep Hulk under control in the Hellcarrier. Sensational. I think that's brilliant. Even more so than the Battle of New York stuff. But of course, that is a good old-fashioned aliens versus superhero battle, and that ends with a mad sequence where Iron Man goes up, nearly kills himself. And now the bond is really forged here, and it's a great movie. It's a god tier movie, not the best god tier movie as we'll get to see, but it was the culmination of the first phase, and really was. Of course, after seeing all these even crazier comic book adaptations later on, going back to Avengers is like seemed kind of small, but at the time it was groundbreaking. So yeah, Avengers god tier, of course. Who doesn't love the Avengers? And then Iron Man 3. Of course, the trilogy. The first solo trilogy. Iron Man 3. Yeah, I'll put Iron Man 3 as a torn between average and good. Certainly not god tier. I might need to rewatch that, actually. I might get this wrong, to be honest, to get my full opinions. But I have good memories of watching this movie. I think Ben Kingsley does a great job as the Mandarin. He's really menacing, even though it's done through news outlets. So it's like, I wish we saw more of that. But of course, it turns out he was a fake Mandarin, and that, like, if the real Mandarin's better, if the real Mandarin shown in the movie is actually good and more interesting than the fake Mandarin, then you've done a good job. But the real Mandarin, the real villain, was kind of meh. So that really, if that was done correctly, even more correctly, I think that would have went into god tier. But no, PTSD from Avengers. That was a good storyline for Tony Stark to have. Just, is it good though? Is it as good as Captain? Would I say it's a good bracket as Captain America: First Avenger? Yeah, I would say so. I'd say so. Maybe I need more tiers. Who knows? Even with this 5-tier system, it's really hard. So, forgive me. What was next after Iron Man 3? Iron Man 3. I'm trying to go in order, guys. Let me check if it was still recording. Yes, it was still recording. Oh, Thor! I completely forgot about Thor. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that came out in 2011 as well. Well, yeah, I like Thor. I need to watch that again. Another movie I need to rewatch. But no, the fish out of water setting, it's been done before, but it's done really good. It has a nice new spin to it. The science and magic combined together element of it. Asgard's really cool. I wish we saw more of Asgard. I think in Thor 2 we did, but not. It was just, we'll get into that in a bit. But no, the introduction to the whole mythology is done really well. Chris Hemsworth doesn't become as much comedic, charismatic character as we see in the next movies, but in this first ever solo outing, it's a really good movie. And Natalie Portman does a good job as well. That's like our human conduit to this world. Any other movies I missed out? Of course, me forgetting that even existed says a lot. So I could put it average. No, but these 3 movies I think on the same level. Again, it's my opinion. So let me know your thoughts down below. And what came after Avengers? Iron Man 3. Then after Iron Man 3 came, I think it wasn't it? Let me go through this. It was Thor: The Dark World. Might as well move on to the sequel to Thor. Meh or average? Is it as good as Hulk? I need to watch that again, actually. I'll say meh for now, but it could go average. I'm torn. I think the start is much better than the end. The end is just apparently, I think, from what I remember, it's just really down the numbers. The villain isn't that good. Christopher Eccleston, such a good job as a Ninth Doctor in Doctor Who. I've seen him play Macbeth in theatres. He's so good actor. They waste him here. They waste him as some random Malekith elf. It's just crap. Like the Loki subplot is sensational until they just kill him randomly. So it's like, and by the time you get like halfway through the movie, it's like, okay, spider numbers. Okay, Natalie Portman, all love each other, lovey. Just more of the same, but no style, no substance. You could really remove this movie and it wouldn't really change much in MCU as well. Yeah, sure. The ether, the red Infinity Stone, sure. And they kill Thor's mother, but nobody cares until like Avengers Endgame. Then that makes that a Thor Dark World actually even a bit more better. It has to rely on other movies to make it a bit worthwhile. Yes, but it's got the Loki in the prison subplot. That was good. Thor at the start was like just battling it. Yeah, can't remember much, to be honest. It's not just bad. It's not crap. It's not really bad entertainment. It's not torture, but you wouldn't really want to see it again after the first time, to be honest. You're not inclined to. Anyway. So yeah, let's get on to what came before? Let's go with Guardians of the Galaxy to spice things up a bit. And yeah, it was God tier or good? God tier. Yeah, it's God tier, isn't it? It's just, these are like 5 new characters. Of course, Chris Pratt being a Star-Lord being the main character focus, obviously, but 5 new space characters in a space setting that's never been done before in the Marvel Studios, and this was the turning point in terms of Marvel Studios just going out there and just, I keep saying turning point. Yeah, well, it was the introduction to the space element of the MCU, and this was really marking, not just taking normal comic book properties, but going really out there. Really, let me see if I'm still recording. Yes, I am. Really going out there, just with craziness and going obscure characters and showing the mainstream. These characters are just as interesting, if not more interesting, than some of the Earth-based heroes. And it's such a good movie. So there's not much you can say. You can name anything in this movie, and it's sensational. The only bad thing is the Malekith, the villain of the movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. But everything else is so amazing, so that you kind of forgive it for that, to be honest. The chemistry between the cast, the aliens that don't feel like aliens but relatable trees. I am Groot. Rest in peace, first Groot. Or is he still alive? I don't know. Yeah, it's just brilliant. It's just a whole lot of fun. I'll watch it over and over again. And it's got some heart as well. It's got heart at the end. By the end, it shows you it's more than just a fun space opera. It's got some real heart to it. With the whole mother storyline, the dance battle, but also that is used to like show the Guardian's strength holding all the that one Infinity Stone as they hold on to it and think they're gonna die. Wow, brilliant. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, God tier again. Best movie. I think it's my favorite solo Marvel Studios movie of a solo lead. It could even be technically the best Marvel Studios movie. I think what's been said has already been said. The twist, the Hydra twist, that really showed just how clever the MCU writers were getting, how confident that Kevin Feige was getting, and of course the introduction of the directors, Russo brothers, who would go on to. There's a reason why Russo brothers were asked to go on to Avengers and bigger projects, because this movie really stepped up in terms of integrating it into the MCU while also being its own thing and focusing on the right characters, while also being something different to the genre with the whole spy aspect to it, and making it feel like, holy crap, this could actually happen in real life, while also having the comic book aspect to it. with the Captain America sensibilities in an unjust world, in a more grey area, in the world with grey areas. Black Widow's, I think, the best in this movie. Samuel Jackson, I think he's the best in this movie. He feels less like a caricature. In other movies he's good, he's fun, but in this movie you really get a sense into his psyche and what it means to be a director of S.H.I.E.L.D. even as S.H.I.E.L.D. collapses. But just the tension, the direness of the situation is really emphasized here, and it has some good consequences for maybe the consequences were kind of brushed aside in the other next movies, but you can't underestimate just how good everyone was. The Winter Soldier, brilliant. That storyline was sensational. Robert Redford, I think, in the movie is good as well. I think normally people talk about him. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much, but we know Captain America: The Winter Soldier is my favourite superhero movie. One of my favourite, top 5, top 10. Really good, really good. So many movies, man. Holy crap. What goes after Captain America? The Avengers 2: Age of Ultron. I'll put good. It is good. I think 3/4 of it is sensational. The final act's a bit by the numbers. I think Quicksilver's death is supposed to get you an emotional reaction, but really doesn't. Because you don't really spend much time with the new characters, so it's like, who cares? Except for Scarlet Witch, who gets a cool development with Hawkeye. Just a small moment with them trying to lift the hammer as they're like hanging out together in Tony Stark's room. I think that's a good movie. It's a great moment. And it is kind of forgettable in some aspects by the numbers. At the start it's really cool. It goes a bit, the pace is a bit off. It goes a bit too fast for me. I think Ultron's created too fast. I think Ultron's creepiness isn't, it's like, you know, it's like it's supposed to be creepy, but it's like you don't get to spend enough into Ultron's mindset. Like the Age of Ultron, something like the Age of Ultron happened like in a day or two. You know what I mean? So yeah, I might put average. But it's just fun seeing all the heroes walk together again, and with like their weapons. A lot you see in this movie, a lot of weaponry is shared between them. Vision's created. He's a great introduction to the franchise. I love how they introduced him. So good. Yeah, I'll just about put in good. Just about. Maybe I'm being stupid. But I don't know. But a lot of people still like this movie, so yeah, I like this movie as well. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Ant-Man. Yes, Ant-Man. It's hard, you know. It's between average and good again. Scott Lang's good. Hank Pym's good. Evangeline Lilly is good. It's good. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I think it would have been God tier if what's his name? The director didn't leave. I forgot his name. How could I forget his name? The director of the Cornetto trilogy and Baby Driver, Edgar Wright. Yeah, I think it would have added that pizzazz. But considering the difficulties, new director to come in, the Ant-Man character is not popular. Just simple concept, but I think the comedy timing's good. You buy Scott Lang's story. Hank Pym's really coolly introduced. I think Michael Douglas does a good job portraying, like, if this was Hank Pym, this is Hank Pym as an adult, like this is how he would be, like a bit of an arrogant twat, excuse my language, but also having the hero sensibilities to pass on the torch to a criminal, but a criminal that can be redeemed, and some funny moments with, of course, Michael Peña's character, and so on. Ooh, let's go on to Doctor Strange then. Yeah, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is I'm tempted to put God tier actually, because I think Doctor Strange is... Do you know what? I really like Doctor Strange. God tier, in my opinion. I think this movie is slept on. Really much so. I like in the trailers how it cheeses the Inception storyline. They think they're just going to copy from Inception, but then really they just go with the Steve Ditko, Stan Lee, all that multiverse art is really introduced. Just him going through his trippy sequences. Benedict Cumberbatch, he just oozes confidence in this role. He plays it as if he's always been playing it all his life, like he's been in previous movies beforehand. Is it God tier? The final end battle is such a cool diversion. Just instead of just being a massive battle, it's like a time travel motif. Trying to keep on asking Dormammu to bargain. I think it's God tier. It may be not as God tier as the other movies. But probably level as Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man. Not as good as Captain America: The Winter Soldier, obviously, but it's God tier. I can't put it in the same. I think it's a step above these movies in a good tier. Excuse me. Who's next? Civil War. I didn't get to watch this movie in cinemas, but I watched it in TV and it's great. So, yes, so many characters to work with, but Russo Brothers again showing how they can provide depth and character-focused elements without making it feel overbloated. Even with the introduction of Spider-Man and Black Panther, it just feels natural. It just feels like this is a ever-changing world with Captain America as the vocal point. His ideals always standing firm. Tony Stark's introduced as the counterpoint to that. The fight at the end is so heartwarming, so heartbreaking. Really, the introductions of Black Panther and Spider-Man are so good, man. So sick. That was like the perfect way to introduce them. The airport scene is just comic book indulgence to behold. Really something you'd only think would happen in the comic book, but it's portrayed on screen really well. Yeah, it's the Winter Soldier just trying to Steve trying to look after Bucky, trying to keep him away from the authorities. So the actors are on point in this movie, really are. Not as good as Winter Soldier, in my opinion, still. So what is next? Yes, speaking of Spider-Man Homecoming. Good movie. I think I'll watch this. I didn't watch this in cinemas, but I think in this case it kind of set me up for all the reaction to it. Is like, oh, this is a smaller Spider-Man movie, not a high. It's not less so like the other movies, except that this is a new Spider-Man in the Marvel universe. You're gonna see him from the high school perspective, more friendly neighborhood, not so wide spanning across the whole city yet. Just marking his first step into a larger world. It's like Obi-Wan, but start of loads of movies to come. But I think this movie in itself is a good movie. There's no ifs. It's just a great standalone movie because I knew what I was getting myself into. The Jeff Hughes flavor, I love that flavor. Inspired heavily by Ferris Bueller. I love Ferris Bueller. Tom Holland is great for this role. Michael Keaton as Vulture was a good get. Him being revealed to be Liz Allen's dad. That was a great twist. That scene in the car when he's trying to figure out if Peter Parker is Spider-Man, if his daughter is going out with Spider-Man. So tense. So one of the best scenes in the MCU for sure. And yeah, I just like the music. I like Spider-Man just trying to do his thing. Trying to just do his thing in the neighborhood and school, making web fluid, making the web shooters. His struggling to keep his superhero stance a secret. And yeah, it was a great movie. It was a good movie. A good start to the Spider-Man franchise, the new Spider-Man franchise, and a welcome fresh pace of new Spider-Man content, not making it feel like, oh, I've seen this all before, but at the same time having its own cool characters and setups for future movies as well, integrated within the MCU. Let's go on to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I might need to do a rewatch to really finally decide between good and God tier. I think it's God tier. Yeah. Whether it's better than Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. But Yondu's death at the end. Pff. The Ego, the Living Planet storyline. Great. I'm saying this is bad, but it's just sensational. It's just it's bigger, but more it's bigger. It's bigger in the sense it's more special. Its special effects are crazy. The Easter eggs go mental. The character actions are mental. If you know what I mean, like it's just more emphasized. Everything is just more stylized in this movie, but the sole focal point is Chris Pratt's character, Star-Lord, figuring out his dad. His dad's more powerful than you can ever possibly imagine, but he finds his real dad by the end, and you can't forget something like that. It gave me tears, man. It nearly gave me tears. But yeah, it might not be as good as the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Maybe not as streamlined, maybe not as good in terms of pace of the movie, but it's still a fantastic watch, and it's so inventive. And James Gunn just pulls out the bag again. And the Nebula and Gamora setups as well, the scenes between them, developing their relationship, and Nebula becoming a full-fledged member of Guardians of the Galaxy, or close to being more of a hero than a villain. Also, Nebula's introduction is really funny, and the interactions with Mantis and Drax is good as well. Wow. Let's go on to Thor Ragnarok. God tier. I'm running out of space for God tier. But the MCU movies, they're so consistently good, so you can't blame it. And if you want me to do an equivalent list for DC, why not? I might do that soon enough. Or other movies. Let me know your thoughts down below on these movies, but also don't be afraid to ask for other movies to rank. It's not just gonna be Marvel comic book. It could be TV shows. It could be DC movies. It could be DC TV shows. I like this whole setup of tier ranking, and Thor Ragnarok is just a clear example of God tier. Yeah, Thor franchise needed a shake up, and it got exactly what it needed. I think what's been said about this movie has already been said or shown. It's shown through comedy, visual flair. Oh, the music as well, the choice of music. Led Zeppelin. Who doesn't love Led Zeppelin? Taika Waititi, you magnificent bastard. Love it. And there's a reason why Thor's getting a new movie, reportedly. Thor 4's coming, and his trilogy's not Thor as a character. Only just his relationship with the Thor character, Chris Hemsworth, and not the fans' relationship with Thor was maybe dwindling. Of course, he was still a fan favorite, more of the MCU Trinity, but without this movie, it really just put life into Chris Hemsworth's role as Thor, more comedic, but more just energetic, just more doing stuff outside the box, doing what Thor represents, just out of the world. He is out of this world. Grounding him in the reality. Okay, that's good in the first movie, but in the second movie just feels again just samey, and this really just produces a real comic book experience that is really a treat to watch in the cinematic space, if that makes sense. So we go with Black Panther. Okay, the final scene might be a bit too much CGI, but still, the villain's great, everyone's great. I'm running out of time. I think this video is going for too long. God tier, sorry. Again, what's been said about this movie is really said. Groundbreaking in terms of actors portrayed. Of course, yeah, everything had to be culturally correct in terms of like portraying a new culture of Wakanda and the amazingness of it and the spectacle of it. Chadwick Boseman's is really nuanced portrayal of Black Panther, Killmonger, sensational. I wish we saw even more of them. And Andy Serkis's Claw is delightfully evil. He's having so much fun. Everyone's having so much fun in this fall, you can tell. And everyone was really dedicated to making this movie a real showpiece in cinema. Ryan Coogler, such a good director. And Avengers Infinity War. Am I still filming? Yes, I am. As you can see, got a poster of it, so I have to put it in God tier, don't I? Just do. Yeah. Just thinking about Snap. Like the MCU is now an internet phenomenon. It's referenced in like so many TV, newspapers, sport commentary. It's like I've heard it all, man. And Infinity War was really just the culmination of everything. And Thanos, if Thanos doesn't work, then the whole movie kind of falls apart. But Thanos is such an enigmatic character, and he is a person, and people recognize him as a person in social media culture. It's amazing. it's something to put in mind. And of course, I can't really got enough time. I think I'm gonna end this recording real soon. But no, Thanos is so good in this movie. I need to play some Fortnite. There's a good Fortnite mode to this as well. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think it was a good movie. I watched it. I think it was a good movie. I think people slept on this as well. It's a good movie. I think the only problem again is that the villain might be a bit rushed. But even then, the villain was really cool, and hope we see her again. The Ghost again. And was there really a villain in this movie? Actually, you feel really sympathetic for her. And eventually Lily have good chemistry. The ways in which they use, excuse me guys, ways in which they use the Hank Pym particles in this movie as well as Endgame, of course, is so more inventive than the first, and certainly more entertaining than the first Ant-Man movie. But it's still on the same level. Can't put it in God tier. That's safest space. Not good. That's space is safe for Avengers Endgame. I've done my Endgame review, so my thoughts are down. You can check that out, please. I go on a 40-minute tangent on it and how it's one of the best movies ever made. And yeah, better than Infinity War in my opinion. God tier. It's not even. The God tier really. The God tier name really is synonymous with Endgame, because Endgame is more of an experience to behold, as well as Infinity War. But Endgame is just emotionally, as well as not just like superhero stuff. God tier. It's also just all the story arcs, all the emotional connections you have. Just put to a head. Captain Marvel's good. Done a video for that. And Spider-Man Far From Home. It could be God tier actually. I'll have to watch it again, but it's good. It's a good movie. And again, did a review recently to that as well. So yeah, that leaves my MCU ranking. A lot of movies in God tier, a lot of movies in good, as you might expect. In which the order, there's a lot. It's some of the movies in good I might regret putting there, but I don't regret putting no one in just bad, because there's no real bad MCU movie. Like every movie, they put the creators of these movies have put some level of effort in, and most of them so much heart in. So yeah, that goes my MCU ranking. If you wanted me to do other what did you think of this ranking? Let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. I always appreciate your support, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Hopefully, maybe being the Phase 4 and the future of MCU. Now we've reflected back on these movies. See you guys next time. Bye. Oh crap. Ah!